Okay, let's dive right into this. If you are a student of logistics, or maybe a small business owner trying to expand your reach internationally, you know exactly how overwhelming the global shipping process can feel. I mean, one day you're looking at a map, and the next you are just buried under a mountain of delays, unexpected costs, and incredibly confusing paperwork. Well, today we are going to decode all of that. By mastering the core concepts of integrated logistics, you are going to see exactly how your goods can move seamlessly from a factory floor straight into your customer's hands. Welcome to this explainer.
So here is our roadmap for untangling these complex supply chains today. We've got 1. The global shipping headache. 2. Step 1. Choosing transport modes. 3. Step 2. Navigating geographical delays. 4. Step 3. Mastering cargo documentation. And finally, 5. The future of logistics. Let's jump in.
Section 1. The global shipping headache. Let's start right at the source of the issues that literally every logistics manager faces on a daily basis.
You know the feeling, right? Missing deadlines, hidden fees popping up out of nowhere, products just stuck in transit while your customers are demanding refunds. So why does this happen? Well, the truth is, moving products across the world is a delicate dance. It involves international laws, unpredictable weather patterns, massive infrastructure, and a chain of custody that requires absolute precision. When small business owners face delays, it almost always boils down to a misunderstanding of two key things: the physical geography the ship has to navigate and the logistics of how different transport modes actually connect with one another. Understanding those two elements, that is the ultimate fix to your shipping frustrations.
Moving to Section 2, Step 1, Choosing Transport Modes. Now we're getting into the very first step of our solution, picking the absolute best way to move your cargo. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks down the network. When we look at the main transport modes, they divide into overland, water, and air. But the magic word in modern shipping is integrated. Integrated logistics isn't just picking one single mode and calling it a day. It's the intelligent coordination of all of these together. Think about it. A product doesn't just teleport onto a ship. It moves by truck or rail. It transfers seamlessly at a port. It crosses the ocean, and then it gets loaded right back onto a road network. As a business owner, your job, or your logistics manager's job, is to look at this massive puzzle and build the quickest, most logical sequence to connect your markets. When we compare overland and water transport, there's a very clear trade-off. Water transport is incredibly cost-effective, and it's actually the most environmentally friendly mode. Yes, sure, it's slower than loading something onto an airplane or a fast truck. But because the journey across the high seas is continuous, the average transit time is highly acceptable when you consider the massive volume of goods you can move all at once. The catch? It requires flawless modal changes at the terminal points. The ports are where the real bottleneck risk lies, because that is exactly where your cargo has to perfectly transition from the water back to the road or rail.
Have you ever been quoted a freight rate that made absolutely no sense? Like shipping to a town just a few hundred miles away costing way more than shipping something across an entire ocean. In logistics, this is a concept known as locational discrimination. Let me break that academic jargon down for you. The cost isn't just about distance, it's about the terrain. Moving goods through mountains naturally costs more than driving across flat plains. But even more importantly, it's about the return cargo. If a trucking company takes your goods to a remote destination, but they can't find anything to load up for the trip back, they have to move an absolutely empty container. And guess what? They pass the cost of that empty return trip right back to you.
Section 3, Step 2, Navigating Geographical Delays. We are shifting from the mode of transport to the actual physical environment your products have to battle. So, the crucial point here is that ocean routes have been tested over centuries, but Mother Nature is still very much in charge. You might think a shipping delay is just a paperwork error, but often it's sudden ice formation. For example, the freezing cold Labrador Current literally freezes up Canadian ports during the winter months, which halts trade completely in certain areas. Or consider dense fog, which dramatically reduces visibility and skyrockets the risk of accidents. These physical barriers are the true natural enemies of transport, and they are the culprits behind a lot of those frustrating supply chain breakdowns. Now contrast those freezing Canadian ports with what happens across the ocean. The North Atlantic Drift is a warm ocean current that keeps the British coast entirely free of ice, allowing navigation all year round. Why does this matter to us? Because understanding these physical realities gives you a massive competitive advantage.
If you are planning a logistics chain for the winter months, knowing which ports are naturally protected by warm currents and which are vulnerable to freezing allows you to route your cargo safely. You can avoid those seasonal traps altogether.
Section 4, Step 3, Mastering Cargo Documentation. Let's transition from the physical journey over to the administrative one and tackle that paperwork maze.
If there is one single piece of essential jargon you need to know, it is the bill of lading. Let's demystify this. It is essentially your ultimate receipt and your contract, but it is not based on just taking someone's word for what is inside the containers. The cargo's weight and its condition are determined by an independent expert known as a draft surveyor. This ensures absolute fairness and prevents some truly devastating legal disputes down the line. This document is the ironclad legal proof that your cargo is loaded, exactly how much of it is there, and that the shipping company has officially taken responsibility for it.
Let's move to the next point and see how this builds, because this strict sequence is exactly where fortunes are saved or lost. First, you have that independent draft survey to check the weight. But step 2 is the cleanliness inspection. The cargo hold must be passed by an independent surveyor before a single item is allowed to be loaded. And here's the real kicker for business owners and ship operators. If the vessel fails that cleanliness inspection, every single minute of lost time and all the massive costs of cleaning the ship fall entirely on the owner's account. No exceptions. Only when both of these hurdles are successfully cleared is the final bill of lading actually issued.
Section 5. The Future of Logistics. Having conquered the transport modes, the geography, and the paperwork, let's zoom out to the global scale.
Look at these staggering numbers for a second. When integrated logistics has scaled up to a global level, we see these dominant hubs emerge. Qingdao in China, Dubai in the UAE, Antwerp in Belgium, and Rotterdam in the Netherlands. These ports handle absolutely massive volumes of global trade every single year, and they do it by perfectly executing the steps, the modal handoffs, and the strict documentation we just covered.
I really want to emphasize this specific number right here, 11.1. That is the traffic volume index for the Port of Rotterdam. It stands as absolute proof that despite the natural enemies of transport, despite the incredibly complex paperwork, and despite the sprawling networks, the system works beautifully. When integrated logistics and proper voyage planning are executed correctly, we can move millions of units seamlessly across the globe.
And the system is only getting smarter. We are not just leaving voyages up to chance or historical maps anymore, no way. Today's modern ship designs are highly specialized and they use incredibly sophisticated data. Advanced ocean wave models and rigorous pre-voyage planning allow routing agencies to literally route around those geographical enemies we discussed earlier. They study the expected weather conditions before the ship even leaves the port, and they monitor seakeeping instruments during the voyage to guarantee the absolute optimal environmental conditions for your transit.
So, we've moved from relying purely on the bravery of sailors to leveraging high-level data models and highly integrated supply chains. But as global markets evolve, the rules of the board are going to change again. So, I'll leave you with this. With modern ships becoming smarter and advanced data models predicting the exact state of the ocean, what will the geography of sea transport look like tomorrow? Mastering logistics isn't just a static set of rules. It's a constantly evolving, high-stakes game. Keep analyzing these integrated networks and you will keep your business moving forward. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I'll catch you next time.